Now to books. Plenty of people like to say they read serious fiction, William Shakespeare, stuff like that. But the statistics suggest otherwise. What people secretly love is crime fiction, dead bodies in the library and intrepid detectives solving the case. Like the Inspector Linley mysteries by Elizabeth George, which have sold in their millions. But while her stories are set all over the UK, many people may not realise that she herself's an American. So the real mystery is, why does Elizabeth George think Britain's the perfect setting for her chilling stories?
What I know about the UK is that last year, 20 million mystery crime novels were sold. What I know about the UK is that the television schedules are full of ripe murders. What I know about the UK is that beneath the surface of this green and pleasant land, the British people are a people obsessed with the darker side of life and death. At this point, I'm happy to say that I've sold over 3 million books in the UK.
And every task
The Inspector Linley series now has a viewership of about 6.5 million, so I think that's doing pretty well.
it's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine
Linley is an aristocrat. He is a professional with the police. His partner, Barbara Havers, is his polar opposite.
Well, I'd have been quite happy with fish and chips and an early night watching the telly.
You're exhausting, you know that. You are permanently on the defensive.
I've come to Bude, Cornwall, because my next book is going to be set here among the surfing and sea cliff climbing communities. What I'll be doing as I walk along is talking into my tape recorder to give myself an idea of where I am, what the sensory impressions are at this place. I'll also be taking photographs with my digital camera to record what it is that I'm seeing. Now, when I see something like that, you know, something like the changing rooms, that's the kind of thing that I want to remember for later on. Summerlees Beach is really quite extensive. The sound of the water bubbling down through the gates of the lock, pulled back by enormous and disturbingly rusty chains, and that's really sort of an interesting device. I have always been interested in crime, ever since I was a little kid. For me, it's almost entirely an intellectual exercise. What specific dangers are there that are associated with surfing?
Yeah, in the summer months there's a fish called a weaver fish which likes to swim around in the shallows, and it's got, on the dorsal fin, it's got a little bit of poison that injects into your foot.
It's called the greater weaver and the lesser weaver?
Yeah, but I'm not sure which one it actually is.
What is sort of sadistically fun is that people that I interview really get into the spirit of coming up with ways to do away with other people.
The greater weaver's like the size of a shark. No, I'm joking.
Being current with what is peculiarly English is a little bit more of a challenge. So the bodyboards are what we call boogie boards in
yeah.
America. Okay. Now that was just excellent, because what I have learned gives me some background information to do the book. I'm looking for differences in language, but I'm also looking for the surfing experience here. I have had a great interest and passion in England since I was about 12 years old. When I was 12 years old, we were told that a girl was coming to join our class who was from a very exotic place. She was from Manchester, England.
Manchester, England.
So I would hear words like lorry and lift and trolley and nicking and pinching. And all of these words were English words, but they had entirely different meanings. And that really set me afire. When I'm coming up with a crime, what I very often have to do is look for that one piece of evidence that the killer did not think about. Now, with forensic science being what it is, there is no perfect crime any longer. You absolutely have to keep on top of that. It's always useful for me to talk to a member of the police force because I am able to see how policing is changing all the time.
We actually call them crime scene investigators these days.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You don't call them SACO anymore?
No.
Oh my God.
Are you doing this as part of the Linley series?
Yeah.
But one thing that struck me was the relationship between the senior officers and the lower ranks. I mean, for example, calling people by their rank is very unusual.
In fiction, though, you have to have, in every scene, conflict of some sort.
Yep.
Policemen, when they read books, are among the most forgiving. They know that you can't make it the way it actually would be in real life. So right now, I have been in Cornwall 4 days, have spoken to a policeman, a surfer. I now have a way to dispatch my victim in the next novel that I write. I've got a wonderful setting to use and all kinds of ideas percolating now in my mind, and so I would call this an extremely successful trip.